So we finally gotten to that point where we are making Java programs. I'm sure you've been waiting for this with much anticipation. First off, let's talk about a computer program. A computer program is a set of written instructions that tells the computer what to do. It's that black box part. The machine language is the lowest level language that you can use. It's a language of bits and bytes that the machine uses to handle its daily affairs. We don't code in that kind of language. We instead use a high-level programming language. And that allows us to use a vocabulary, reasonable terms, to make the program do what it needs to do. But we don't want every programmer to be coding their own way, so we establish syntax. Syntax forces us to use a specific set of rules so that we all agree on the linguistic concepts. When we get to our program, we have to type out program statements that are similar to regular language, that are commands that allow the computer to carry out programming tasks. And that brings us to an idea of a language. We code in our high-level way, then the programming language does its thing and makes it more like machine language, or actually eventually converts it to machine language, so the program can make the computer do its thing. There are two ways of handling that. There's compiling a program, and there's interpreting a program. Compiling a program takes the entire program and converts it into bytecode or some other code that will eventually be redacted into the computer using it. An interpreter translates language statements one line at a time. When you're programming, there are syntax errors, which are just a misuse of language rules. Those are very common up front. Later on, you'll have more logical errors. This includes things like a misspelled programming language word, or maybe a missed semicolon, or maybe a space where a space might not ought to be, or miscalling a variable, something like that. Debugging means you find all these errors and fix them. Logic errors are also called semantic errors, and that's like an incorrect order of procedure. Maybe you ran an array out of bounds, something like that. The program's probably going to run, but provide inaccurate output. Technically, an out-of-bounds error is a runtime error, so it's a whole different class of error, but it really is a logical problem. But either way, logical errors can often not break your code, but still produce inaccurate input, and that's why we need to fix them as well. All right, so we're going to stop there for now and step into our next theme.